The aircraft will make a climbing transition away from the runway. The US Marine Corps then, specifically Marine Medium Tilt Rotor Squadron 264, VMM 264, the Black Knights from Marine Corps Air Station New River in North Carolina with the Bell-Boeing MV22 Osprey. You see those nacelles just tilting forward now to 80 degrees for the takeoff to begin the display routine. A four-star crew from today. Captaining the aircraft is Captain Tommy Keach. The co-pilot is Captain Ed Abmer, Crew Chief Lance Corporal Nelson, and the observer Sergeant Lopez. As you saw, this is a tilt-rotor aircraft, which means it can take off and land like a helicopter, but once airborne, those nacelles can be rotated to convert the aircraft to a turboprop aeroplane capable of high-speed shafts. We're now in aircraft mode, and this is the opening high-speed pass by the MV22B. The technology that we see here on the Osprey was first demonstrated on an aircraft called the Bell XV-15. It was a technology demonstrator first flown way back in 1977, and the big advance was that the engines, unlike on previous attempts at tilt-rotor machines, were contained in wingtip mounted pods that were able to swivel in order to transition between vertical and horizontal flight. And the sort of speed advantages over the XV-15. It became known as the V22 Osprey in early 1985. Gestation was to some extent a little protracted. The aircraft was eventually rolled out in May 1988 and it first flew in March 1989. But it took around a decade for the Osprey to enter service, initially with the US Marine Corps.
See, the nacelles have been rotated, the gear is down, the aircraft has transitioned into the landing configuration.
And the crew will now be decelerating to a hover at just 50 feet at the centre point of the display line.
Rotate in opposite directions, which produce lift, and because they turn in opposite directions, there's no need for a tail rotor to provide stability as you'd find in a conventional helicopter.
Of course, the advantages of this aircraft are that it can fly faster and higher than a conventional helicopter, but is able, as we've seen, to manoeuvre in much tighter spaces than a fixed-wing tactical transport. and these attributes have come in very handy in Afghanistan. It was VMM-261, the US Marine Corps unit that in November 2009 carried out the type's first deployment to that theatre. A month later came the inaugural combat mission when Ospreys inserted Marines and troops into a hostile zone in Helmand province. MV22Bs have carried out earthquake relief missions in Haiti in 2010, but last year they were active in Operation Odyssey Dawn in Libya. The MV22Bs carried out a rescue of a downed US Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle crew member.
The conversion, by the way, from aeroplane to helicopter mode can take place in as few as 12 seconds.
Like when they started shooting them Libyans.
It is been a
think he got shot
to
down.
be seen much more in UK skies, not least in the skies of East Anglia.
Yes, because it's scheduled that at least under current plans, that the 352nd Special Operations Group of the US Air Force's RIAT Milton Hall will take on a squadron of CD-22B Ospreys, possibly later this year, early next, I can't quite remember. We're going to see a rolling landing now by this MV22B of the US Marine Corps.